she makes everything so difficult. She has to be super grand when really she's a nobody. She's just hanging on to the tails of Harry just to have a title.
Did Meghan Markle change her name on baby Archie's birth certificate?
Breaking today, the corrupt mainstream media and royal rota are spinning Prince Harry's dud flop meeting with King Charles to try and clear the way for Meghan Markle's return.
Meghan didn't want to do what Kate had done. She didn't want to come out, within hours of giving birth or the day after, with full hair and makeup. So they chose another hospital.
Angela Levin just lit the royal world on fire, and honestly, people cannot stop talking. She didn't just drop a little bit of tea. Oh no, she poured out the entire pot, and what spilled has left the monarchy scrambling. Angela went straight for the jugular, questioning something so explosive it shook everyone watching. The legitimacy of Harry and Meghan's children. Yes, you heard that right. She dared to say out loud what so many have whispered behind closed doors, and the fallout has been absolutely chaotic. The moment those words hit the headlines, the media went berserk. Newsrooms went into overdrive, gossip columns started frothing, and within hours, what began as speculation had turned into a full-blown circus. And right in the middle of that storm, Prince Harry, furious, rattled, and firing off lawsuits like confetti at a royal wedding. But here's the kicker. Every single time Harry swings back with his legal threats, it doesn't calm the rumors, it makes them louder. People are now asking, if there's nothing to hide, why all the drama? Why act so defensive? That question alone has taken the whispers of scandal and turned them into roaring debates about whether this could actually spiral into a constitutional crisis. Think about that for a second. If doubts about Archie and Lilibet's legitimacy spread too far, the monarchy itself could face an earthquake. The crown doesn't just sit on a head, it rests on the foundation of bloodlines. Shake that foundation and everything else wobbles. So buckle up, because the tea I'm about to spill is one of the most jaw-dropping royal sagas of the year. This isn't just palace gossip anymore. This is about power, image, and survival. The bombshell heard around the world, Angela Levin, a biographer who has been circling the royal family for years, made her move in a way that no one could ignore. Calm, collected, and razor sharp, she questioned why Harry and Meghan had broken away from centuries of tradition when it came to the births of their children. Now, let's remind ourselves of the rules. Traditionally, when a royal baby is born, the whole process is shrouded in ceremony and protocol. Hospital photographs outside the famous Lindo wing, signed medical bulletins, timelines as clear as crystal, all designed to make the world feel part of the event and to confirm everything was done above board. But when it came to Archie and Lilibet, none of that happened. No hospital steps, no bulletins, no transparency. Instead, what the world got was secrecy and silence. Angela, with her calm delivery, didn't need to shout or dramatize. Her words alone were enough. She raised the questions. Why break protocol? Why all the mystery? The implication hung in the air like smoke after a firework. And the effect? Viewers were left stunned. Seeds of doubt had been planted, and they grew quickly into one of the most heated royal controversies of recent decades. And let's not pretend this was just Angela speculating. She fed into the ongoing swirl of rumors that Archie and Lilibet were born through surrogacy, rumors that Harry and Meghan have never been able to shake. And when she boldly demanded proof, yes, even calling for DNA tests, people lost their minds. The conversation went from whispers to screams in seconds, but Angela didn't stop there. Oh no, she kept the hits coming. Meghan, the photos, and the digital storm. Only a few months earlier, Angela had already stirred the pot by suggesting Meghan had misled the public about Lilibet's very existence. She claimed that some of the photos Meghan shared looked digitally altered, which only threw gasoline on the fire of suspicion. Imagine how that landed. Photos that millions of fans had gushed over were now being dissected frame by frame, pixel by pixel by skeptics online. Then, in July, Angela made yet another prediction. Archie and Lilibet would grow up to resent their parents. Why? Because Harry and Meghan had cut them off from their royal heritage. That wasn't just a jab, it was a knife twist. It painted Meghan and Harry not as protective parents, but as selfish strategists who stripped their children of the birthright that could have defined them. And let's rewind to early 2024. Angela was already criticizing them back then, calling the decision to name their daughter Lilibet manipulative. For those who don't know, Lilibet wasn't just a cute name. It was Queen Elizabeth's deeply personal nickname, one tied to her childhood and Prince Philip's enduring love for her. To many royal watchers, Harry and Meghan using it felt like crossing a sacred line. Angela wasn't alone in thinking that. When she wrote an article for Sky News, she flat out asked whether the Queen had truly given her blessing for that name. Harry and Meghan had insisted publicly that she had. But Angela raised her eyebrows at that claim, and she wasn't the only one. And that's when things blew wide open. The BBC versus Harry and Meghan. The BBC, of all outlets, reported that palace insiders claimed the Queen had not given permission beforehand. Instead, Harry and Meghan had supposedly told her about it after the fact. Can you imagine? That would mean the couple tried to spin the narrative to their favor. Again, as soon as that story dropped, the Sussexes went into full panic mode. They accused the BBC of lying, they sent in the lawyers, and they demanded retractions. But Buckingham Palace? Silent. When asked to back Harry and Meghan's version, the palace declined. They didn't confirm, they didn't deny, they just let the Sussexes twist in the wind. And those big legal threats, they fizzled out. No case, no trial, just noise. But the damage had been done. Fast forward, and royal author Robert Hardman reignited the fire with his book, Charles III, New King, New Court. He revealed palace aides had never seen the Queen so angry, and one source remembered her saying chilling words, "The only thing I own is my name." Think about that. For the Queen, her name wasn't just a word, it was her identity, her legacy, her crown. And Harry and Meghan had taken it. To make matters worse, reports surfaced that the Sussexes registered web domains like lilibetdiana.com shortly after her birth. For critics, this wasn't just sentiment, it was commerce. The idea that they might turn the Queen's most intimate nickname into a brand left many people horrified. Angela's point was brutal, but simple. If the Queen knew about this, it would have devastated her. Now here's where it gets downright messy. Let's not forget that Angela Levin wasn't always this critical of Harry. Back when she was writing his biography, Harry himself once told her how much he adored his grandmother. He spoke about her glow, her warmth, and how special their bond was. And yet, here he is now, accused of tarnishing her name, of exploiting her most personal nickname for his own child. How do you go from adoration to devastation? It's the contradiction that haunts this entire scandal. And remember, in April 2022, Harry slipped into the UK for a quick visit with the Queen before flying out to the Invictus Games. He later told NBC's Today Show that he just wanted to make sure she was protected and had the right people around her. Protected from whom, Harry? Her staff? Her own family? He never explained. That cryptic statement only deepened the mystery, feeding into speculation that Harry had long been plotting his own narrative, one where he painted himself as the sole loyal guardian while casting doubt on everyone else. Meanwhile, Meghan was playing her own game on their Netflix docuseries. Who can forget that infamous, exaggerated curtsy she mocked on camera, giggling as she reenacted meeting the Queen? It wasn't charming, it was cringeworthy. Angela Levin called it straight-up disrespectful, and honestly, many people agreed. For critics, it was Meghan's way of turning tradition into a punchline, even as Harry swore up and down that his grandmother meant the world to him. The contradictions just kept piling up. Harry's legal blitz, a gamble gone wrong. So how did Harry react when Angela's comments snowballed? Did he try to calm the storm with transparency? Did he release medical records or official documentation that could instantly squash the rumors? Instead, he went into full-blown attack mode. Harry's legal team fired off cease and desist letters faster than tabloids could print headlines. Defamation, harassment, you name it, they accused people of it. Harry seemed determined to bulldoze his way through the criticism. But here's the problem. That strategy didn't work. It backfired spectacularly. Rather than silencing the whispers, his aggressive threats only made people wonder more. If there's nothing to hide, why not just show the proof? Why sue everyone instead of providing clarity? The heavy-handed approach turned him from victim into aggressor in the eyes of the public. Commentators mocked him relentlessly. One even joked that Harry looked like a man suing everyone while appearing guilty of everything. Brutal, yes, but that was the vibe. Every legal letter he sent out only amplified the very rumors he was desperate to kill. And let's be honest, Harry isn't just fighting for privacy here. The stakes are monumental. Angela's claims cut right into the monarchy's lifeline, the certainty of bloodlines. If the public starts doubting Archie and Lilibet's legitimacy, the crown faces a threat bigger than any scandal in recent history. This isn't just tabloid fodder, it's constitutional dynamite. The Breaking Point insiders say Harry's mental state has started to unravel under the weight of it all. Imagine pacing the halls of his Montecito mansion, restless, furious, and paranoid. That's reportedly what's happening. Meghan, the usual mastermind behind their PR strategy, has been eerily quiet through this storm, almost fading into the background. For once, Harry seems to be left carrying the entire load alone. And Angela, she's been everywhere, calm, composed, composed, confident, appearing on TV panels, podcasts, interviews, you name it. While Harry lashes out, she simply repeats her claims with surgical precision, never raising her voice, never losing her cool, and that contrast is killing him. She looks credible, he looks unstable. The optics are devastating. Then came the gut punch. Angela hinted that if Harry's rumored secret lawsuit actually goes forward, it could backfire in the worst way possible. Why? Because it might force the release of documents he's been desperate to keep hidden. Translation: the very evidence Harry wants buried could be dragged out for the world to see. That suggestion alone reportedly sent shockwaves through Harry's inner circle. Imagine fighting with everything you've got to keep a lid on a scandal, only to realize your own lawsuit might blow the lid off instead. That's the nightmare scenario Harry is facing. Then royal silence. And through all of this, perhaps the most chilling detail is the one thing we haven't heard: support from the palace. Buckingham Palace hasn't stepped in with even a single carefully worded line to defend Harry. No statement, no subtle show of backing, nothing. Insiders say the message is clear. Harry made this mess. Harry has to clean it up. That silence cuts deeper than any headline. For a man who once relied on the firm to shield him from the press, the absence of their support makes him look isolated and exposed. He's not just battling Angela Levin anymore. He's battling her, the media, the court of public opinion, and whether he admits it or not, the cold indifference of his own family. From sympathy to mockery. And here's where it gets tragic for Harry. Once upon a time, he was the underdog. The public saw him as the wounded prince, unfairly treated by a rigid system carving out his own path. But that image, it's evaporating. Social media has turned him into a punchline. Memes are everywhere. Hashtags like #Harry lawsuit scandal are trending, dragging his credibility further into the mud. He's no longer seen as the brave rebel. Now he's the man whose story is unraveling, one headline at a time. Angela's revelations didn't just embarrass him. They cracked open the glossy image he and Meghan fought so hard to build. What once looked like independence and reinvention now looks like manipulation and contradiction. And the worst part? Angela has made it crystal clear she isn't done. She's hinted there are more bombshells coming, leaving Harry and Meghan in a permanent state of dread, survival mode. This isn't about gossip anymore. It's survival. Harry's lawsuits, once framed as noble attempts to shield his family, are now seen as desperate gambits that might expose him even more. The public isn't buying the narrative he's selling. Instead of protecting his legacy, he may be destroying it. The monarchy, the media, and the masses are all circling. Harry isn't just defending his reputation, he's fighting for his place in history. And with public opinion slipping further out of his grasp, this may be one battle he simply cannot win. So here we are. Angela cool, Harry unraveling, Meghan silent, and the palace detached. The tea isn't just hot anymore, it's boiling over. Anyway, what do you think about this drama? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this royal saga is far from over.